This map first impressions video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Tuscan lands. This map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website in the mod hub or in the in-game mod hub, and this map is available for all platforms. This map is also seasons ready, as you can see by the preview slide here, and there was a mention of that in the thumbnail of this video. Let me read a little bit of the description. It says, "Welcome to Tuscan lands, ready for seasons." The map has a typical hilly landscape of the Siena area, has 26 fields of various sizes, vehicle dealer with point of sale and repair, cattle dealer, and the BGA. In addition, there are 8 points of sale: consortium, logs, sawmill, sale of chips, sale of straw and hay, spinning mill, sugar mill, agricultural cooperative, and a fertilizer center. So with that, let's go ahead and jump on in. We'll pick our typical mods that we use during our walk-arounds, or I guess I should say map previews. Pull up the log. Watch the map load on up in here. And there we go. So we are starting this map in new farmer mode. And if we start this map in farm manager or start from scratch, basically what you see here is going to be a total blank. There won't be any buildings, there won't be any fences. This will all just be total blank, and we won't have any starting equipment. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the PDA. So we pretty much start here in the middle here in the middle of the map, owning field 1 and our farmyard, and that is pretty much it. If we start in farm manager mode or start from scratch, we will need to buy this if we want to have our farm here for $495,000. That will put a pretty serious pinch in start from scratch, but farm manager should be pretty good. Let's take a look at some of the other land prices. Field 2, $452,000. Area 3, $734,000. Area 9, $234,000. Take a look at some of these forested areas. $459,000, $663,000, $985,000. And I will say there's kind of an interesting set of areas that we cannot buy. So the BGA over here is $341,000. We can't buy anything north of the BGA, and then east to this point over here. I'll point that out during our flyover. We can't buy any of this area at all, but we can buy that. And we can't buy this chunk here for some reason. We can buy all the land around it, but we can't buy that particular chunk right there. So it's kind of understandable when we can't buy land that is a sell point. But, you know, we can't buy the Shell station here, or the fuel station, but why can't we buy this area over here? So it's kind of an interesting selection of what we can buy and what we cannot buy here on the lands screen. You see this map has all of the standard crops in Farm Sim 19, and we have 2 main sell points that will accept the bulk of our products. We also have a dedicated sell point for our root crops: sugarcane, potatoes, and sugar beets. We have a spinnery for our cotton and wool. Hotel is going to accept our eggs and milk. Sawmill is going to accept our wood chips. And now note there are 2 different sawmills in essence on the map. One that buys wood chips and one that buys logs. The barn will accept our silage, hay, straw, and grass. And of course, like I said, there is a BGA. Take a look at our vehicle overview. See, we don't start with a whole lot of equipment None of it is leased. We do not have any animals in the cow pen or the chicken pen that we start out with, and we do have contracts available on the map. Let's go ahead and look at our starting fleet. Start out with a Fendt Favorite 511C at 115 horsepower and the Fiat 1300 DT at 150. We have the New Holland TX32 harvester and grain header. We have the FarmTech TDK 1600 trailer, Polymag cultivator, the Amazon D830 seeder, and we have the in-game cow pasture. We do have a custom chicken coop. We have the in-game grain silo, bunker medium silo. Then we have some modified building sheds. We have an open shed, tool shed, a second tool shed, another building, and then we have our farmhouse for $90,000. Let's go here to placeables. See that we have one custom chicken coop. And then we have to go all the way down here to our sheds. And then we have our open shed, tool shed, and secondary tool shed. And then we have the farmhouse for $180,000. So let's go ahead and kind of explore the main farm here. Start over here to our right. We have the tool shed. These have openable doors. And I'll have to say, I found it kind of interesting that they open in. Seems kind of odd. I would think that they should open out. By opening in, you pretty much can't have anything in here that is basically comes any further than this point. Otherwise, the door is going to smash into it and, well, probably create all kinds of chaos in here. So it's kind of strange, I think, that these doors are opening to the inside. See, all three of these do that exact same thing. You have our two tractors in there. Then we have our standard in-game cow pen. Now, I did activate the animal pen extension mod. Since it is the in-game cow pen, we would have the ability, if we wanted to have the water valve installed here. We want to have the GTX animal pen extension mod. Here we have the open tool shed, our harvester. We have our in-game silo. There we have the tool shed without any doors. Another one of this style without doors. We have our chicken coop, and then we have our silage bunker. That is pretty much the local farm. Now, as far as the chicken coop goes, you've got your food trough, your food trigger. Here's where we will buy our chickens. And our eggs are going to spawn right here. All right, with that, let's go ahead and get ready to do a fly around of the map. Then we'll settle down over at the shop, get our gator, and not our gator, get our Mahindra, and do a little bit of a drive around. Right, here we go. I think that's probably good enough. We are now looking towards the north of the map. Rotate towards the west. South. And then finally towards east. Here we have the vehicle shop. This is where we're going to come back to this point. Interesting waterfall, kind of a recreational area here. Hang out and check out this area. Kind of cool. Let's head on down here, and we're going to start talking about some of the interesting lands that we can or cannot buy. I think, pretty sure we can buy this forested area over here, but then this is the Shell station, or the fuel station. And all of this is unbuyable. I mean, this is some pretty prime real estate. Not all that flat, but it's some pretty prime area. You could easily buy that if it was buyable. File it up, make a little field there, flatten it out, make a little secondary farm. Yet it's non-buyable land. Can buy this forest over here to the right, but this treed area right here is once again non-buyable. Doesn't really make much sense why we can't buy this particular segment of the map, but we can buy this segment over here. Of course, this segment has the trees where we can use the tree harvester. This area does not, but thanks to various mods, that doesn't preclude us from being able to quickly get rid of these trees. See, the map has rolling hills. Indeed, we'll see a much better picture of that as we do our drive around. Make our way over here to the west side of the map. Let's just change our viewpoint and kind of look across to the north. Here we have one of our sell points. This is going to be our root crop sell point. Over here we're coming up to the spinnery, so this is our cotton and wool sell point, if that wasn't overly obvious by the decorative bits. Got the BGA coming up. Decent viable forest there to our left. Here is the BGA. And then all of this area to the north of the BGA is non-viable yet again. So this would be a really nice spot for a potential secondary little farmyard. Kind of flatten it out a little bit, but it's not viable. Kind of an interesting decision by the mod author. So this is the wood chip sell point, but take a look there. That is right there. That is kind of implying that this is a log trigger, but we don't have the icon that we would typically have to activate that. Now, we didn't have the static cows, and if this whole area was maybe devoid of buildings, this would be a really nice secondary yard location. Or even with the buildings, get rid of these cows, and you'd have yourself a nice secondary yard. But again, you can't buy that land. Can purchase this plot of land. That's pretty nice. Got some pseudo flat area. We just kind of have to get up onto the road. But it's pretty expensive, this plot. This plot is $537,000. Again, can't buy any of that land that we were just looking at. We talked about not being able to buy this. And this whole area up here by the fuel station. Didn't make much sense when I was looking at it. So here we can buy manure and slurry. See there, there's triggers on both sides as well as lime. This is the log sell point, right there where the lights are, the concrete pad. Make our way over here to another sell point. And then we'll head back over here to the vehicle shop. That kind of is a cursory flyover summary of the map. Here we have the shop. We've got an old vent, it looks like, in here. You have the customized repair trigger right there. Nice and handy, right by the trigger icon. Got a little decorative bits going on in here. Let's go ahead and get our Mahindra and do a bit of the drive around. New Holland agriculture sign here at the shop. But there's a fence in the in there being worked on. Don't see any. Nice to see some New Holland equipment here on show or something in the display yard. So let's head out here and make our way over the bridge. Check out this waterfall from the road perspective. Not really sure about these road textures. They look kind of dark, especially in the shadows, and there's a couple other areas around the map that have some interesting maybe texture artifacts going on. It's a bit steep. I don't think this is going to be usable as a water trigger, but you can go ahead and give it a try. Hello, buddy. Come on back down here. And I guess let's do a go. Let's go clockwise around the map. As you can see, the map land is definitely not flat. Head on around. Here is the dump station. And this particular cell station is the consortium, which is one of the two main cell points that accepts most of our grain crops. I do like the bridges here on the map. So often map authors don't make use of the vertical space. Many times the roads are flat, or should I say more or less one-dimensional. Some nice road signs giving us directions. So I like to see maps where we have roads that cross over top of each other, go underneath of each other. Here we have the sawmill. This is the log selling sawmill. Right here. A little bit of background sawmill sounds to go along with it. This up here would be the map boundary. take us into one of the forested areas of the map. Let's head on back this way. And the next stop is going to be the... That's a pretty nice grass area there. We can definitely buy that, right? Yeah, we can definitely buy that area. $271,000, $177,000, 16. Forest up there, $355,000. This whole area here to our right, we've already looked at $537,000 for all of that. All the way past the entrance to this fertilizer purchase area. More or less buying natural fertilizer here. We have our slurry purchase point, our manure purchase point, and this is one of the areas where I think we've got some weird texturing going on along these fences. Some of the fence looks fine, and then the other parts of the fence here have this weirdness going on. Like that on the other side of the fence too. Yeah. And we have a lime trigger. And then basically from somewhere around this point all the way around to the BGA, none of this is buyable. Like you said. Oh, let's go back. This is the hay, straw, and grass sell point, and the animal dealer. I was so hung up on this possibly being a secondary farmyard area, or a possible area where you could buy land and have a second person in multiplayer, that I overshadowed the idea that this was actually a functional part of the map, the actual animal dealer. There is the trigger, right here in this general vicinity. Never have been a huge fan of static cows. And background sounds where they just will not stop mooing. Rather that these guys either be animated or just flat out not exist. Here we have our bale cell trigger. Back around. Next stop is going to be our wood chip sell point. Well. One floater found. That was right there. We didn't have to search too hard for that one. Here we have the wood chip sell point. Once again, we have the sawmill background sounds. Here is the wood chip sell point. And like I said, right over here we have what looks like a log trigger. This general vicinity. Right there we are on top of it. But no apparent activation icon. I don't know, if you bring logs over here and put it on there, they may sell, they may not. May have to put them on there and then run over to the other sawmill to sell them. That would be kind of an interesting dynamic. Have to put your logs in one part of the map drive to a completely other part of the map in order to sell them. Talk about confusing players. That would certainly do something. It's graffiti on the walls. It's a nice touch. Now it's a biogas plant. Again, one of the nice forests on the map. What's the deal with the gas masks? And here we have our 2 silage bunkers, our digestate trigger, and then we have our digester. And it's been lowered. It'd be interesting to know if you can actually tip your trailer into that, or if you still need to use a bucket or a belt to unload into that. A little trick that some folks may not know is you can use, where is it? You can actually use the sugarcane trailers. Always been able to do this ever since Platinum and 17. You can use this sugarcane trailer to unload silage into the BGA, because this is not a trailer. This is technically like a bucket in game. So if you didn't know that trick, there you go. That's an interesting little trick. Some interesting foliage. I guess it's supposed to be like some downed tree branches or something. Oh, let's double back. Show you guys this hotel area. That's pretty cool. I kind of think it's set up kind of like a castle area. Now it's a hotel, so you've got this kind of grand entryway. Everything is walled off. You've got these kind of outbuildings. You've got the main hotel. You've got these side shops. That is the sell point again for eggs and milk. And then down here you kind of have the, the town with other buildings and whatnot. It's kind of an interesting setup for sure. Another kind of grand entryway, and again, the whole area is fenced off. This is a viable forest that is just south of the main farm. So this land here is pretty flat. This could be a nice extension to the yard, and then this field is pretty interesting shaped. It's really, really begging to take out those trees and square it off now, isn't it? Head on over here to the spinnery. We have our root crop storage and then our cooperative. I suppose that would then cover everything that we needed to cover here on the map. Here we have the spinnery. This is going to be for our cotton and wool. Kind of an interesting way of placing and stacking those. There is the trigger right here in front of the wool, or the cotton, I should say. Next on the stop is going to be the root crop sell point, and that's going to be for sugarcane, sugar beets, and potatoes. Here we can see the dump station for that. Kind of interesting to pull into that. You'd have to pull in over here. Not a lot of room for a really big trailer. Back in, and then kind of make your way back out. Might be better to turn around here and then back in sideways to there. Here we have our second main sell point for all of our crops. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think of Tuscan lands? This map is available over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub, and is currently available for all platforms. So until next time, happy farming. Be sure to click that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.